Every world war has started in a small Eastern European country. Do you think this war in Ukraine is anything different? We are already in World War III.
Wait, what? I don't want to sound like an alarmist, but I'm going to show you in the next few minutes why we are already in World War III and how this may unravel. I think most people think of World War III as some instant and huge apocalyptic war that wipes out humanity, and it may come to that. But World War III can also be a war in which we can see the use of biological and chemical warfare along with conventional weapons. The point being that World War III may already be in motion, and we just don't see it. We are now in 2022 in a similar global situation in which the world saw itself in the mid to late 1930s. And yes, the comparisons will be uncanny. Russia's invasion of the Ukraine, while seen by some as a border dispute or a regional conflict, may in fact be the beginning of a greater war, which eventually might be called World War III. Let's just go back in time. The Second World War, or World War II, was not even called that until U.S. President Roosevelt made a statement in 1941 after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. And it was not even officially called the Second World War until September 1945, a month after the end of hostilities between all major combatants. Our story begins with the Spanish Civil War, which lasted from 1936 to 1939. That conflict was seen as a localized civil war within Spain and would end just 5 months prior to the German invasion of Poland on September 1st, 1939. The Spanish Civil War divided that country between the Republican government, which was pro-communist, and the nationalist movement, which were pro-fascist. Each side would receive weapons and supplies from other countries, mainly from the Soviet Union and Germany and Italy. Foreign troops would also fight on Spanish soil under the guise of international brigades from the Soviet Union and other countries supporting communism, and the Condor Legion from Germany, as well as the Corps of Volunteer Troops from Italy. In many ways, the Spanish Civil War was a prelude to a much bigger war later. In contrast, the modern civil war in Syria, which began in 2011 and is still being fought, has brought the West and the East into a war. Eastern Ukraine has also been under a civil war since 2014, with a separatist movement there supported by Russia. In Syria, Russia and Iran have taken direct action with troops and military aid to support the Syrian Arab Republic, while Turkey has provided troops to the Syrian National Army of the interim government. Additional support for the interim government has also been provided by the U.S., Israel, Jordan, and even Norway. Now let's go back in time again. Before Germany invaded Poland, it made several annexations of territories and countries. The occupation of the Rhineland, Austria, the Sudetenland, and then the rest of Czechoslovakia. The leaders of the world at that time did nothing to stop the German expansion and annexations. Today, by comparison, we can see that Russia fought relatively minor wars in Georgia and Chechnya, and none of those conflicts drew any international involvement. In 2014, a separatist movement supported by Russia began what then escalated into a civil war in eastern Ukraine. Russia then took the opportunity to occupy and annex the Crimean Peninsula in February and March of 2014, while the world stood by and watched. Perhaps those conflicts are the prelude to a much larger war. Thanks for watching, and as always, please subscribe and leave a comment.